Alright, boys and girls, so this is your last writing lesson for this week. So we're finishing up adding the final touches to your realistic fiction drafts. So your objectives for this last lesson is to develop a realistic dialogue by inserting interjections and sentence tags. And then you can share it with someone in your class during this writing time. So what that means is interjections. So you did dialogue. We've been working on dialogue last couple days. Interjections, like sometimes a lot of people, you see these in comic book types or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or I think Dogman might be another one. So a lot of it, and we also saw it in Flora and Ulysses. So interjections are like normally with the exclamation point, like you see right here in your example. So, okay, and what they can mean. Or, it's good to see you. Or it can be like, that scared me. Okay, maybe that's O down there, OH. Alright, so you're going to add some of your interjections into your dialogue. Doesn't mean you have to have it every single sentence, but today you're going to try to add some interjections throughout your dialogue, okay? So this is a list that you can use and pull from, and each interjection has a meaning. So it might be used to show fear, for help, and then he gives you an example. Help! I fell and I banged my head. Okay? Or, hey, getting attention. Okay? So any of these that you can use in your dialogue. So see where in your dialogue you can try to insert some of these interjections, okay? So pleasure, fear, where in your story is there surprise? Is there embarrassment? Are the characters confused? Try to find some place in your dialogue where your characters are showing these types of behaviors, I guess you could say, okay, or emotions. And then try to insert some of these interjections. Like I said, it doesn't have to be every single place, but it'd be nice to see a couple, maybe like 2 to 3 inside your dialogue. And then this is how you would write it, okay? So if it's very like trying to get your attention, use the exclamation point behind it. If it's hesitation, you ... Obviously, if it's confusion, you would have a question mark. So try to follow, what types of punctuations they're using depending on which one you pick, okay? So I will make sure you get a copy of this. I'll ask Ms. Mattoon to make sure she gives you guys copies so you can pick from it and add it to your dialogue. Alright, so here's an example. Emma opened the door to a surprise. Wow, I didn't expect this at all, Emma said. Okay, and then, listen, Joe, I wanted to share my ideas for tomorrow's speech, said Max. Alright, so here you're noticing some commas as well. Alright, so you see where the commas are placed. Alright, so pay attention to your commas. So anytime your character's kind of making a pause, so like number 2, listen, Joe, so there's a pause there. So see if you can put any commas in where you would want to pause. Maybe near your interjections and when you put them in there, or at the end, or wherever you think there needs to be a pause in your dialogue. Alright, so this is the last part of your writing your draft. So we should have a complete draft by today. So that's why I'm giving you plenty of small group time today to finish up your writing. So make sure you've got a closing. Like yesterday, we talked about a conclusion, wrapping everything up, wrapping your problems up, and make sure you have a solution. We made the day before that, you talked about dialogue. Make sure you have dialogue. Make sure now today you throw in some interjections and throw in some commas where you need to see a pause take place to make it sound realistic. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to show you I'm going to go over your small groups real quick. Okay, so let's go over your small groups. So I told you that one of your small groups is going to be finishing this. Here's another thing of your small group. So today you're taking your reading quiz. So that's why we went ahead and did a reading lesson and a writing lesson back to back. So today you're going to take your reading quiz. It's going to be on Benchmark. That's priority number 1. Okay, so get your reading quiz done first. Remember, boys and girls, we talked about close reading, going back and finding your answers, and remember these go into your grade speed, so you want to try your best on them, okay? The next one is a Google Classroom assignment where you're going to write 1 paragraph about that reading lesson you just talked about, but we're just going to look at Tom. Just look at Tom's characters and compare his character between all 3 stories that he's in. So how is Tom's character in Camp Life versus Game in the Woods versus Becky Returns? Okay, and then you're going to use some text evidence to support your ideas. So you're going to have the quiz and benchmark first. Then you hop on your Google Classroom. You only really have to write 1 paragraph for this. That paragraph should be at least 5 sentences, okay? Because you have to compare Tom in each of those stories: Camp Life, Game in the Woods, and Becky Returns. Always look back to just kind of get a feel for Tom's character and how are they different. How is he different throughout, or how is he the same throughout all 3 stories? All right, if you have not finished your grammar packet after you're done with that Google Classroom, you're going to work on your grammar packet. It has the realistic dialogue and the closed syllables in it. Number 4 is adding that dialogue to your interjections and commas to your realistic fiction writing. So I have 4 stations this time because during win time I said just keep working on it. So you're going to work on your language arts, continue to work on your language arts into the win time. So you'll work on your language arts all the way up until lunchtime. All right. So we'll make sure you get a break in there, your 5-minute break, and then you can start working on your thing. So take a 5-minute break after at least everybody's finished that reading quiz. Okay. So that's your small group. So it's a lot to do, but I'm giving you a lot of time. So you're going to start it right after the writing lesson, and then you're going to finish it. You have all the way until your lunchtime. So that's a lot of time. Okay, so I should be able to see you guys completing your things in Google Classroom. Obviously, you could tell by yesterday that I'm actually watching it. So I do expect things to get done, and if it does not get done in school, then you need to go home and do it. Okay? You're given a lot of time to get this done. So like I said, email me if you have any problems, but you should be able to get all this done today. All right, boys and girls, let me know if you have any questions, but that's going to be it for your writing and your small groups.